EA Sports. It's in the game.
Hi, everybody. I'm Trey Wingo, and welcome into a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to make a video game like the very successful Madden franchise, specifically Madden NFL 07. Joined right now by the executive producer of EA Sports NFL Football, Dale Jackson, and the lead producer, David Ortiz. Guys, how much of a labor of love is this for you guys, first of all, to do this game every year, Madden NFL?
It's a huge labor of love. We're the biggest competitors in the world, so being able to make a game where we can go out and try to better ourselves every year and be the best game on the market is something that we eat up and love to come to work every day.
Same thing with you, David?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're excited to work on a game that, not just fans across the world play, but all of our friends play as well. So the scrutiny's there every year. People want to see the best things from us, and we can't hide from the criticism.
Right. It's going to be in every home. There's no question about that. It's the most highly anticipated game launch every year. So what do we have in store for folks in Madden NFL 07 this year that's different and new from years past?
The level of detail and authenticity we've been able to achieve in the game this year is unmatched in just about any game, not just sports games, but any game across the board. So the level of immersion and reality in football is better than ever before. That coupled with the running game that we've added this year with the unique running back styles, lead blocking control, it's going to be a huge year for this year.
Is it almost difficult now? Because it seems like every year you're adding more things and the game becomes more successful. It's almost like, hey, that's great, but then we got to do this again next year.
Now that the platforms are getting stronger and stronger, our only limit is time. It's how much can we actually get in before the game comes out. We have no limit to ideas. The NFL is our resource and our reference point to look at what they do. Every year the NFL evolves. There's rule changes. There's new players. There's new personalities. And as that happens, we have more material to then try to build and bring back into the game to give our fans that NFL fantasy.
And it's exactly what they're looking for every time, to take it one step further as they continue to build. And Madden NFL 07 continues to take that step to the next level. Listen, we'll take you through how the game is played, some of the new features, and everything you need to know that's new and different about Madden NFL 07 as we go through and give you a behind-the-scenes look at what's different in this game and how the game is put together. Welcome back. Trey Wingo here with you as we continue to go inside Madden NFL 07, the way to play the game and how this game is different from years past. Joined now by three people who are going to help us discuss play styles and how exactly to get the most out of your Madden experience. We're going to go with nicknames here. All right, this is D-Cass, that's D-Train, and this is Just Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. Now, RW, you like that? That works for you?
That'll work.
Fair enough. Everybody gets a cool nickname except the host. We need to talk about that. All right, if I wanted to be the best Madden player ever, guys, what are the play styles I would go up against?
I think the play styles that you basically see when you play Madden are guys that like to run the ball all the time, guys that like to air the ball out, and then you've got the people that play more of a balanced, leveled off game.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely encounter that. I consider myself to be more of a balanced player, ball control, that type of thing. You'll have guys that just want to, try to stay away from actually playing a realistic game, but you'll have guys that want to pound the ball all the times and, like you said, air it out. So.
What I've experienced mostly is fast quarterbacks like Vic, McNabb, Dante Culpepper. And with all the new quarterbacks coming in, you got to face a lot of the quarterback scrambles. So, that's probably one of the most predominant ones.
All right, let's stick with the quarterbacks here for a minute. Let's say you're playing against somebody who basically is Mike Martz gone wild. All he's going to do is throw the ball 743 times a game. How in Madden can you try and stop that?
Well, it can be tough to stop that. You just have to be sure that you have the right personnel. That's the first key. If they're in a pass offense, you have to come out in a pass defense. You have to make sure that you have your good cornerbacks and their good receivers, and you need to just basically call coverage.
Yeah, I was going to say, just make sure you have the right guys in the right places, basically. I mean, make sure you have speed on speed and just about it.
Yeah, if you get any kind of coaching on your opponent or anything like that, you might want to have some audible set, so you can switch on the fly, do some quick coaching decisions on the fly.
Definitely.
Okay, so if that's what you do against someone who likes to throw the ball out, what do you do if you're lining up a guy who's basically like the Steelers in the second half of a football game, handoff left, handoff right, 73 straight times?
I would say the same principles apply. You just have to have your big, tough guys in there. You need a lot of linebackers on the field, and you need to make sure that you have your guys who can stop the run, who can blow up the offensive line, who can get some penetration.
Yeah, I like to definitely put guys like in that situation. You know, make sure you use your D-line splits right. You know, make sure you have guys concise and down. Make sure you're blitzing at the right time. You know, use a lot of press coverage and things like that to make sure you at least get the guys in the right place.
Yeah, if you're playing against someone who's going to pound you out, you probably want to use the 4-3, 4-3 over. Defenses like that. I probably wouldn't use 3 down linemen or quarters defense or even nickel. So, yeah, I'd probably use a 4-3 defense, something of that nature.
Just find the Ted Washington guy and stick him in the middle.
Basically.
Like, hold up 3 guys, right? Basically the way that goes. All right, as you're going, how do you elevate your game when you start playing competitively?
Well, I think when you start playing competitively, you get a little bit out of your comfort zone because you have plays that you run, you have things you like to do, and competitive players will stop what you're good at doing. So that gives you the opportunity to expand your game, to learn new things, and to add to your game and add to your arsenal. And that's when you become really good.
Yeah, it's kind of like a coach when he scripts his first few plays, and once you realize, wait, these don't work anymore, then you have to go back and revisit all your strategies.
Yeah, good players are going to force you to create new, different ways of playing. So, you know, I think the more people that you see, you know, by playing online, going to different tournaments, you know, just playing anybody that you can.
A lot of people start out and they're just, you know, all they know how to do is like one type of thing. And then once you play more people, I mean, by the end, you can play with any team, any play style, and you can hang with anyone. And that's kind of the most important thing.
All right, well, let's take this to the next level then, because basically that's automatic strategy. But let's talk adjustments, okay? That seems sort of what we're talking about here. Once you get out of the huddle, what sort of adjustments can you make before the ball snapped?
I personally think that half the game is won or lost before you even hike the ball when you're on your way up to the line. You have to know, you have to see the defense, you have to see, if you're on defense, you have to see the offense. You have to try to get into your opponent's head and figure out what they're doing and use all the different kinds of adjustments that we give you to your advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Madden provides a huge suite of pre-play controls, and I think I agree with DCAS. I mean, that's the most important part of the game is really getting your guys in the right places. And it sounds kind of like a broken record, but that's like the most important thing is make sure you have the right people and the right personnel on the field at the right time and in the right place.
Something that pre-snap read, basically.
Exactly.
Something that people don't know is that you have to pay attention when you're playing the game. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. You also have to pay attention to what you might think your opponent might be doing. As in the play call screen, you know, you can call a fake play. You know, so I can make you think that I'm calling one thing and I'm calling something else. You know, and then when I get to the huddle, I may seem as though I'm going a hot route, and I'm really not doing anything. I'm just making the screen jump up and down. You know, you don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So it sounds a lot like what the Colts do every 3 seconds at the line of scrimmage in a game, and that leads us to the next question. What about audibling? Because that's something the Colts do very well in the actual NFL. When do you audible in Madden?
I think that you audible all the time, to tell you the truth, to keep your opponent off balance. It's like exactly what you're talking about with the Colts. I mean, if you come out and you see a certain look and you have a play right there at your fingertips that counters that defensive look, you should call it and you should run it. It's a great way to keep your opponent off balance and keep him guessing, and that's just the mental game.
Yeah, the one thing I like to do is try to keep all my audibles in the same formation. So I can call a formation, come out, and try to not leave that formation so that way the person I'm playing has no idea what I'm going to run. You know, I can come out in a run, but I'm in the same single back formation. I can audible, and I have all my audibles set in that same formation. That way people have no, you know, there's no tip. They don't know what I'm going to do. So.
Now, what I use audible for, I may want to run a particular play. I see you in the defense, and it's been stopping me a little bit. I'll audible to something else. You'll come out of what you set up, and I'll audible right back to what I wanted to run originally. You know, just to get you out of what you're doing.
Because you're that kind of guy.
Right.
That's what you'll do.
I'm off balance.
Yeah. That's it. Well, I think we've all established that already. Okay. We've gone through play styles here with these two. We're going to come back and talk to them more about execution during a game and a tournament and the things you might face in Madden NFL 07. Come back and see us then. Welcome back to our behind-the-scenes makings of Madden NFL 07. Trey Wingo here with you. We're talking about play styles and some of the things you will see in a tournament or when you're playing a game against somebody. Joined for this segment by D-Cast and D-Train. And D-Train, my man, you are a former Madden Challenge champion, so you know this maybe better than anybody. What are some of the styles you faced in tournaments, and what should people expect?
In the Madden Challenge situation, it's a 2-minute quarter, so you're going to have people trying to do clock ball. And you're also going to have those who just not going to come out of the game. They're going to throw the ball. You know, they're going to do what they want to do. So you have to kind of prepare in a weird way. You have to play a lot of maybe 2-minute games. You have to get your mind right for that. And then the championship round, it may change over to 3 minutes, and then the championship game, maybe 5 minutes. So there's a different kind of feel in what you have to do, and you also have to stand up the entire time. So that may be 13 hours of standing while you're playing, which is different.
That's never any fun for anybody. But it is interesting because you sort of, as the tournament goes on, you really have to change how you play because of the clock, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a huge battle early on in those rounds because conceivably, if you have the lead and the ball at any time in the second half, you're 2 or 3 first downs away from just ending the game. So you really have to tailor your style of play to the clock.
All right, one of the things that's very popular right now is scrambling quarterbacks. Seems to be a very popular way of play strategy, not only in the NFL, but also in this game. Break down this play style and the effective way to counter it.
Scrambling quarterbacks is a very difficult thing to handle in Madden from a defensive perspective. The good news is that most of the scrambling quarterbacks aren't the Peyton Mannings and the Tom Brady's, the super accurate ones. So the key is to just use QB spies, use QB contain routes, and do anything you can to focus on stopping the scramble and make them beat you deep. Make them beat you with precision passing because that's not their strong suit.
So basically spy them and don't let them use their legs?
No, I like to, my strategy is a little different. I like to blitz. I would have to put some kind of pressure on them. I want you to run because I want you to throw the ball off balance. I want to get you. I might set a blitz up with a zone coverage behind it. So if you just throw the ball off balance, and you may happen to throw it to my linebacker, you may throw it to my safety because he's off balance. And then we have guys sitting in zone, they're not really running in man. So. I would say I'll bring as much pressure as you can. However, you're going to have to cover as well because Michael Vick can throw the distance of the field.
No, there's no question about that. All right, so tell me about Madden Challenge. How has it changed and evolved over the years?
It's changed in the sense that, you have more people that are actually coming out competing. I think the competition level has grown so much with online play. Guys, are friends from New York all the way to California. They'll call each other up. Hey, guy, I'm going to come stay out and hang out with you. We're going to get some games in so we can go to the challenge, get up early. And so you have a lot more competition, I think, than when I was playing. And there's so many more people that are involved with it now. So, I think the competition level has risen to a great number.
What about the different kinds of play style? We've seen quick snap, lob, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of different crazy kind of play styles at the Madden Challenge, and that's one of the things that's so unique about it is that you really get to see how everyone sort of has their own personality, everyone has their own play style, and people that like to just hike the ball and throw it up deep, people that like to play more of a controlled game, people that like to mix it up. It's really fun to see all this diverse play come together at the Madden Challenge.
And what's some of the differences you've seen in this year's version of Madden?
I think in this year's version of Madden, I think it's going to be a lot more focused on the running game. I think that's what you're going to see. We've added all kinds of new moves. We really focus on the running game, and I think that you're going to see people pounding the ball a lot more and using play action because it's the best offset for running the ball.
In a Madden Challenge situation or in a tournament situation, what are the keys you need to pick up when you walk into the line of scrimmage?
One of the key things you need to do is just pay attention to exactly what's going on, what is the defense doing, and a lot of times, you may get a chance to scout your opponent. If you can scout your opponent at any time, you should do it. You know what I mean? That way you can pick up on some of his habits. You can pick up on some of the way his styles. If he likes to throw to the tight end, you might want to double tight end, or you might want to put, somebody in the short hook zone for the tight end. Somebody may want to throw to Randy Moss deep, so you might want to put a safety over top of him. And maybe he wants to scramble to the left. So maybe you might bring pressure from the left, to force him right, because he's not really good at throwing right.
I guess the best way to sum this up for both of you is how important do you think the Madden Challenge is?
I think the Madden Challenge is extremely important because it gives you an ultimate goal every year to shoot for. It is the Super Bowl of Madden. It is that one thing that all the games against your friends, all the games against people online, they don't count as much as the playoffs, the Super Bowl, which in our case is the Madden Challenge.
Yeah, I think that the Madden Challenge is with the phenomenon of Madden itself, the Madden Challenge is just that thing that, the icing on the top of the cake. You know what I mean? Where you can get in, you can get with your friends and say, hey man, look, I accomplished this. I did this. I know when I won, I was like shocked that I won. It never really set in.
We all knew you were going to win, D-Train.
Yeah, because I said it.
Yeah.
So, but when I won, I'm like, it was exciting. And it was a good feeling. It was like, man, I really did something. I did something good here, And it was all from playing the video game. And the game has just evolved, and the challenge has helped me to, just meet a lot of different kind of people, So I've gotten to meet you.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Clearly that's a bonus for you.
Meet DCAS, DCAS, one of my good friends. So, it's just the people that you meet, the opportunities that come out of it, not just from playing Madden, but just in the relationships that you gain and the networking that you gain. I think is a great thing.
Terrific. Guys, thanks for coming by. We appreciate it. A little bit later on, stay back with us here on Madden NFL 07 Behind the Scenes. We'll start talking about game strategy specifically, maybe even the running game. Stay with us. Welcome back to a behind-the-scenes look at Madden NFL 07. Trey Wingo here with you. This time we're going to focus in on the running game and things you can do in Madden 07 that you haven't been able to do before. Joined now to talk about that by a couple of the producers of the game, Jason Barnes and Ian Cummings. We won't get into Jason's situations over the last couple of years where he's lost a couple of bets and had to wear a Bucks helmet to the mall.
That's right.
And dye your hair pink?
Dye my hair pink.
I said we wouldn't get into it, and we just got into it. I don't know how that happens, but we'll avoid it from now on, I promise. Okay, you guys have made a commitment to revolutionizing the running game this year. Tell me about the changes.
We've made a lot of improvements to the running game, and one of the big improvements is giving the user, so the gamer, control over the blocker. So you're going to have this whole new mode where you can switch into lead block control, and what you're going to be able to do is take that fullback, run through the run hole, maybe nail, decleat some linebacker coming in, then the camera's going to switch, you're going to have control back over the running back, and then you take it from there. Or you can stay on the blocker the whole play. It's a really great feeling to be able to nail a defender coming in and then watch your running back spring for a 40-yard run. Other things we're doing is the highlight stick, and the highlight stick is giving the gamer more control with the running back. So you're going to be able to juke left, juke right, make some get skinny jukes behind the line of scrimmage, do a back juke to fake out the defenders. At the same time, the highlight stick is actually making the individual running backs come alive. So you're going to be able to truck and duck depending on what kind of running back you have. So Work Done is going to have a whole new set of animations compared to a bigger back like Jamal Lewis.
Right.
So Work Done's going to slide out of the way, slip out of the way. Big back like Jamal Lewis, he's going to run right over the defense. And then your all-star backs like Tomlinson and Sean Alexander, they're going to be able to do those animations depending on who the defense is, and then have some spin moves and different things that they have the full range.
Sounds like we got a lot of things going on there. Ian, tell me, he mentioned the highlight stick. What does it do to make this so unique?
Well, I think the most unique aspect of it is the animation. Getting that feeling that you're controlling that person. You've always just kind of had a generic running back, I think, is the feeling. Now you feel like you are Jamal Lewis. You are going to, really bore ahead for yards. Someone like, Work Done, like he said, is going to be really elusive, and you're going to want to try and run outside plays and get guys one-on-one matchups, whereas Jamal, you're just going to run right up the middle.
It seems like you guys have really made a heavy emphasis on the running game here. Was that something you felt like people were telling you wanted to get more involved with here?
Definitely. We listen to the fans, the gamers at Madden tournaments, Madden challenges, and we're all gamers. We're all big fans of the game. And we wanted to really give that unique style and that individual style to all the NFL players. And it really starts with the running backs and the different players, because every play you're going to have a tackle or a broken tackle. That's the way they're going to end.
And I tell you, it's right along line with what goes on in the NFL. It always has been and always will be a run-oriented game. The passing is a bonus, but run will get you where you need to go. So it looks like you guys have made a lot of strides on the offensive side of the ball. But Ian, what about defensively? What have you done there to improve that?
I think defensively was a big step in terms of really wanting to offset that real bonus that we gave to the ball carrier, to the running side. We really want to increase the improvements, add improvements to defensive line play. New special moves, any kind of new turning into the hole, forcing the guy backwards. We never really had that aspect before. So that was a big part of it, actually getting the control back into your hands. You can actually fill the run hole where you couldn't before.
It seems like we've made a lot of things here, a lot of upgrades and a lot of improvements. What additions do you think out of all of these the fans are going to enjoy the most?
I think that the fans are going to like the highlight stick. I think just being able to, like Ian said earlier, have that different feeling of the different running backs, it's going to come across. They're going to really enjoy knowing that if you have that big back or a fullback on a fullback dive, you're going to have a fall forward and a plow ahead kind of animation, whereas if you have that smaller back like Tiki Barber or Work Done, they're going to slip out of the tackle. They're going to do something that we've never had in game before.
And I'd say lead blocking, personally, I think is going to be a major improvement. I know a lot of years past, it's tough to really get out there and have your lead blocker out in front. It's actually really satisfying, especially in two-player games, to get out there I'm one-on-one with you and actually really lay a pancake block and the guy's springing free.
Well, there's two things I think we've learned from this segment. First and foremost, they've really upgraded the running game, and secondly, we've managed to get through this entire segment. Jason hasn't lost a bet. He looks exactly the same as he did as the segment started. Trey Wingo back with you as we continue to go behind the scenes on the building of Madden NFL 07 and the best ways to execute the new features in the games. And one of those things that is always a hot button topic on the Madden contest is the player ratings. Joined now by a couple of people heavily involved in that, producers for the game, Cedric Carty and Donnie Moore. Guys, first and foremost, you've redefined the way players are rated this year. Explain what those new ratings are and how'd you come up with them?
We do a lot of research. We get a lot of information from different sources. And basically, I mean, we had a meeting yesterday. We just get together with everyone on the team, and we pretty much try to come to a consensus of how, each position, how the players rank within those positions.
Is it easy to come up with a consensus, though?
That's kind of the trick, right? Is like getting the numbers so good, so tight that there's not really anybody that looks at them and say, oh man, this doesn't look right. Like that's kind of what we do. We basically rank all the players, in all their attributes, 99, 98, 97, and try to rank them. So it's like there's obviously nothing out there that you can kind of use to go to this website and say, oh, this is how they're ranked. Everybody has their own opinions, and you can look at stats, and you can look at scouting reports, and you can look at the experts and all that kind of stuff. And all that's, we just compile all of that knowledge and all that data and come up with the best, ranking list. And it's perception. Perception is key. If everyone thinks Randy Moss is the fastest player in NFL, well, we want to make him the fastest player. Champ Bailey's the best corner in football. We want to make him the best player.
So it's kind of like, even though with all these stats, it's not really, there's an art to it. It's not just science. You can't really crunch these numbers because somebody can look at these numbers and say, well, they mean this, and somebody else can say, no, they really mean this.
Exactly.
Well, for example, we had Brett Favre yesterday at 90 overall. Yeah. And we went into this meeting, and everyone had a lot of, said, oh, I don't know, Favre had such a bad year, all the picks and this and that. So we bumped him down a few points because, that last season and the last few seasons, his level of play sort of declined. So, you can go back and look, oh, he's got all these MVPs. So you could look at that and say, well, he should be rated higher. Right. But, it's so many different factors that go into it.
Right. We try to exactly. Well, we try to keep current, and you also, you don't want to punish a guy if he's done it in the past. We try to base some of it on what they've done in the past and, not kill him, I guess.
Yeah, obviously this is something that you guys take very seriously. I bet it's something that the players themselves take very seriously. Do you get feedback from no names here, but do you get feedback from people saying, hey, what are you doing in my pass blocking rating?
We've had emails, phone calls. We've had players come into the office. Actually, I remember a couple years ago.
Cedric, where's Cedric? I gotta kill Cedric.
Surprise confrontation.
Like that. Yeah, I had a receiver from the Buccaneers, I'll put it that way, came in and he was complaining about his speed rating. And I almost got to the point where I was like, let's go into the parking lot, I'll race you. And that'll determine your speed rating.
But that would have been great. That would have been tremendous. And these guys do take it seriously. I mean, you hear either from them or through other avenues that these guys know where they stand in the ratings.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Another player, I think it was 2 years ago at the Pro Bowl, defensive end, they were interviewing him, and he was like, I have to do better next year, so my ratings in Madden will go up.
When you hear that, how does that make you guys feel?
That's what we like to hear, because that's how we rate players. We're not trying to get our favorite players, rated higher than others, or just our own personal takes, like, oh, we really think, such and such defensive end is going to really have a great year, so we're going to make him higher than everyone thinks he is. We want, what you do on the field is, what gets you your ratings, basically. It's as simple as that. Production equals rating.
And if they're talking about it, that means other people are talking about it, and that means whatever you guys have done is a success, right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
The best thing in the world you can do is have people talk about this. No question about it. Ratings are important, kids. Don't you forget it. Trey Wingo back with you as we continue to go behind the scenes in the making of Madden NFL 07, game strategies, interesting updates to this year's game. And ladies and gentlemen, we've come to my favorite portion of this entire thing, Superstar Mode. That's right, Superstar Mode, ladies and gentlemen. Joined by a man who's going to screw me up on the air very soon, Tway Hopkins.
Correct.
I guarantee you, I'll say on SportsCenter NFL Live, hi, I'm Tway Wingo, very soon. So it's all your fault, just so you know. Disclaimers out there. And Meyer Wasserman. Nice to have you guys. Tell me more about Superstar Mode this year. Tway, we'll start with you. Give me a brief overview of the features.
Really, Superstar Mode is great because it's a unique way of playing football. It really allows the user to be in that perspective of really being that individual player. Instead of controlling the entire team per se, you'll control either a quarterback or a defensive back, and you'll actually have this over-the-camera perspective. So it's really a unique way of playing football, which is great.
How does it, Meyer, get you really inside that guy?
Well, what's important to know is that the camera's behind the player. You feel like you are the player, which is really the whole point of the feature. You're the guy. You can be any position you want. You can be offensive tackle, punter, if you want. Better would be quarterback, for instance, you know, or halfback, cornerback, safety, linebacker, something like that. But you're always right there in the action. You know, you're making the tackle, making the interception, making the throw.
Can you change who you want to be in the game during the game? Can you go from one player to another?
Well, we will actually provide the ability for you to actually play the other side of the ball. So if you're a defensive back per se, you will actually stay as that defensive back for the entire game. Actually, through the entire mode, you'll stay as that individual player. But we will give you the option to, you know, if you want to go play the offensive side of the ball, you can go and play quarterback or, you know, basically the other side of the field, just to kind of give you something to do while you're, you know.
But your superstar doesn't change.
Like your superstar won't
when
change.
you start the mode, you create your character. You know, it's almost like a role-playing game. You create the character that you want to be, and through the entire mode, you know, 10 years of your career, you're the same guy the whole time.
So it would be bad to choose a punter, as you said off the top.
Yeah.
Don't be doing that.
You're in the game three plays.
That would not
plays,
be
whatever.
good. That would not be good. All right, so you practice in this mode. You play games in this mode. What happens in this mode in the off season?
Well, you actually go through things like interviews, like normal players would go through. You also go to training camp. You do things that a real superstar would do in the off season. So that's what kind of makes it unique. As you know, you're not the owner, you're not the coach, but you're the actual player.
How difficult was that to come up with all these ideas to do in the superstar mode in the off season?
Well, I mean, an off-season for a player, there's not a lot to do. So, you know, we did have to come up with what do? You have a calendar, you have a whole, you know, month of stuff to do, and you have one interview. You know, it's like, okay, an off-season where it's not a contract year, to be honest, there's not a lot to do. You know, you have an interview, maybe you do a movie.
But also you have other things that, you know, because football now is a, you know, year-round profession.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have to work and you have to train yourself, you know, you have individual drills that you'll be, you know, trying to better your actual superstar in to kind of keep his, you know, himself physically fit and ready for the football season to start.
Okay, so what if I'm a superstar or a player in this mode, not getting enough playing time, and maybe it is a contract year? What are the sort of things we can do here?
Well, you actually will sign an agent, and you will have a number of agents to choose from in the mode. So each agent has their own strengths and own weaknesses. Some are great at negotiation. Others are great at, you know, influencing the media potentially. So if you are not getting enough playing time, you're not happy about your contract, you go through your agent to either talk to the team or talk to the ownership to see if you can better your situation.
How many players did you deal with to try and sort of get as much of this information about some of these situations?
Well, you know, we talk with players all the time, and you know, we do tons of research about the life of players and the NFL as a whole. So it's sort of a constant process where we're always getting feedback and trying to improve.
Which positions do you guys like to play?
I want to be a cornerback, to be honest. I think
you have it in you.
Not fast enough. Getting an interception in superstar mode is very, very gratifying, especially if you can do pick six or something. It's one of the best feelings you can have.
And you can really spot the ball coming the whole way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you get good. Playing a corner is probably one of the toughest positions, especially you go man-to-man a lot.
Right.
Playing man-to-man in Madden is very difficult, but very rewarding when you do it well.
What about you?
I think wide receiver, because like you said, it is very difficult because, you know, you have to basically get yourself free of coverage, and then you have to, you know, find the ball in the air as you're kind of breaking away. It's very challenging and very rewarding once you actually do score the touchdown.
I think every position has a lot of pretty cool elements. You know, to be honest, I've played offensive tackle for a game just to see what it was like. You know, you throw some pancake blocks. If you bust your running back a hole and he just goes house on you, that's pretty sweet in my opinion.
Yeah,
and you just see it.
You didn't hold though, right?
Yeah, no, of course
No,
not.
of course,
But
you just that out.
you just see it from your perspective, right?
Yeah.
You bust a hole open, you watch him whiz by, you're running after him, and he's going 50 yards downfield, and you're just kind of looking downfield to see if he's going to score.
Yeah. That is interesting because you get different perspectives on every player and how the game is different for each one of them. That may be the most enlightening experience for fans, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Superstar mode, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of our two superstars.